It wasn't until he personally dug into the secretary's background that everything came crashing down. He realized she was never the pure, top-tier student she claimed to be. In reality, she was nothing more than a morally bankrupt hostess. And yet, for a woman like her, this man had methodically dismantled his once happy and stable marriage. Not long ago, driven by deep disappointment, his wife had stripped him of his title as deputy general manager and moved to seize his company's shares. But even then, the man felt zero remorse. Fueled by the secretary's manipulation, he decided to launch his own business, vowing to rub his success in his wife's face. To make it happen, he didn't hesitate to sink his last 30 million yuan into the venture. He even convinced his mother to mortgage the family home just to secure a loan. Only then did he have enough to finally get the new company off the ground. But just days later, an employee rushed in with devastating news. The secretary had invested all the company's capital into a fraudulent scheme. The shell company had vanished, taking every last cent with them. Not only was his 30 million yuan gone without a trace, but his family home was now on the verge of being repossessed. The moment he heard this, the man completely collapsed. Consumed by rage, he hunted down the secretary and demanded an explanation. But the secretary didn't seem to grasp the gravity of the situation at all. She actually claimed that losing 30 million yuan was no big deal and that they could just make it back later. The man was so livid he nearly blacked out. That 30 million yuan was his absolute last shot at a comeback, yet she treated it like it was nothing. It's no wonder they were swindled so easily. He couldn't help but remember his wife. Back then, she'd stay up all night, obsessively checking contracts worth even a few million until they were flawless. Only now did he finally realize just how incredible his wife really was. Losing his cool, he snapped at the secretary, asking if she even had a clue how to run a business. Her competence wasn't even in the same league as his wife's. Hearing that, the secretary exploded in anger herself. She shot back, asking if he thought she was so inferior to his wife. Then why had he been flirting with her this whole time? The man was left completely speechless on the spot. His suspicions about her top student background grew, so he secretly hired someone to dig into her personal records. The truth finally came out. She was actually just a hostess, and every single one of her credentials had been forged. He couldn't hold back any longer and confronted her with the truth. But the secretary put on a sob story, claiming the documents were fake and that someone was trying to frame her. That's when the man pulled out the actual videos of her working as a hostess and threatened to call the police. Panicking, she finally apologized, begging for forgiveness and promising to find a way to pay him back. But his family knew she didn't have a prayer of coming up with that kind of money. Livid, they had no choice but to throw her out of the house. Then, they urged the man to go back to his wife, hoping she might still help them out of consideration for their past relationship. But when the man arrived at her house, he found her family already busy welcoming her brand new boyfriend.